Hey everyone, welcome to Jungle Dragons. That's the new name of my site, I guess. I've got a page on Facebook if you want to follow me, so I'll put a link to my page in the description. But welcome back. I'm making this video because I got a lot of good feedback from my last one. It's been a long time, sorry, but it's not every day I feel like I have something to tell the world. But today I got 2 boxes and I actually cheated. I opened them already, but they're kind of cool, and I was like, why don't I ever share my everyday tips with people on what I do exactly, because I think I have an interesting hybrid of things I do with my chameleons. Obviously it's centered around chameleons, but I also have a number of interesting plants that I cultivate, so they have interesting things to live around basically. I also am building tons of outdoor enclosures, and I even hope maybe to be able to build those for others. So we're gonna look at those, talk about those a little bit. And first we're going to start with my unboxing here. So come here a little bit. My first box is from my new favorite company when it comes to getting predatory plants. It's Pearl River Exotics. I like how they ship things. They always ship in good shape, and they even have pictures on them. So they come in a small, almost all pitcher plants are going to come to you in a pretty small box here, or pot. But then they put this cup around the top to protect the plant, so they don't have to worry about shipping you a pretty good sized plant. So we're gonna open this up and I'm gonna show you. Now this is one of my favorite breeds of Nepenthes pitcher plants. It's called the Nepenthes Northiana. So Nepenthes Northiana. And I have high hopes of crossing this Northiana with a number of other plants, or at least attempting, but the first attempt of a cool cross I want to do is Nepenthes Northiana with Maxima, Nepenthes Maxima. So both of those plants, in their upper pitchers, they have some really cool stripes. So right now these are very tiny little pitchers. They're not going to have any cool stripes yet, but as this plant ages, it's going to start showing you some really amazing colors on the pitchers. Now look, they cut out the bottom of the cup. I've got almost all the tape off the cup here, so I can take it off for you. So look, it comes off, the cup just comes clean off like that, and boom, you've got a nice pitcher plant. I mean, this is honestly probably 6 months to 9 months old already. It doesn't look that big, but pitchers, they grow very slow in their younger age. So about from 1 year to 2 years, they grow very slow. And then when they're 2 years old, they start exploding because they are a vine. Quite literally, they are vines. And when they're big enough, they start growing rapidly. And the difference between a 2-year pitcher plant and a 3-year will be astronomical compared to a 1 year and a 2 year. All right, so this is my, of the 2 boxes I just got, this is my favorite boxing. This is my favorite item that we're gonna get, but we're gonna get rid of the boring stuff before I take you out to the grow room, or what I call the green room. All right, so that's that entire box. I don't normally buy a ton of pitcher plants at once because believe it or not, the plants that I want are very rare. So Northiana has not been for sale for at least 6 months on like any websites that I've found. So the fact that that was up the other day on their website, I bought it quite quickly. All right, so this is the home of my dubia. I recently went through some problems. I had an ant invasion. You know, there's a lot of things that we have to work with. This is the other box. No, I just got this other box. Who is this from? Well, I bought it off eBay. So, needless to say, I got about 400. Some of them are already in there. But anyways, if you want to see my colony, it doesn't look like much, but if you start turning these over, you're going to see a lot of adults scurrying around. So it's a pretty healthy colony, actually. I do have a good number of adult females. I have probably at least 15 to 20 adult females, which is why this colony is able to hang in there, basically. But yeah, I've got some work to do. I've got to get some more cardboard. The last colony kind of got too moist, and a lot of the cardboard had to be thrown away. And again, I had problems with ants. So here's a tip number 1 of this video. I have taro, and I pretty much put it on the lids of a lot of things like this. Oh, how'd this little guy get out? You'd rather be in your home, buddy. Go to your home. Okay, but yeah, so these things that make it look wet up here, the lid of this dubia colony, it looks wet. That's because I put a lot of taro on it. So if ants come here, they're going to Uh-oh, I put this on its side and all these little baby dubia are able to get out of these holes. I don't really want them to get out. Okay. Alright, we're good. Okay, we're done with the dubia. That was the boring box of the two. Taro, I'm gonna put this away. Now we're gonna go out to the green room and we're gonna go show this guy his home. And here is the tag for the species. It's Nepenthes Northiana. Okay, so I'm gonna plop this in here and come out with me to my green room. So I've got some work to do in my green room. It's pretty windy where I live, so the roof has kind of gotten a little damaged. So I'm gonna be adding a, what is it, a polycarbonate, yeah, you can tell it's really windy, polycarbonate dual wall roof to it. So it's gonna have a hard roof probably by the end of today. So anyways, as you can see, I've got a lot of good picturing going on inside the green room, and that's because I have a Mist King that is timed to go off many times every day. So there's a lot of lush things growing in here. And my favorite corner is on the ground over here. As you can see, I've got a lot of pitcher plants over there. They're starting to do very good. The big picture you see here is my Maxima. The Maxima looks really good, and it's growing the fastest because it is already vining. My Maxima is probably already close to 2 years old. As you can see, it's gotten a lot bigger since I got it. All this brown stuff down here is basically new growth, and it's kind of getting woody. And I've also got a Nepenthes Robcantlii, which is doing marvelously. This is my Robcantlii. It likes to be really wet. But as you can tell, Robcantlii get huge. So this is basically a baby. Oh, it's actually a Robcantlii with a cross. So that's why you see these pictures getting so big on the bottom, because this is a special cross. So it'll be really interesting to see how it looks. It's also crossed with a Spectabilis. So this is a 3-way cross. So I am excited to see how this guy is gonna look as it gets older. But anyways, I can see it's very wet, and it likes it that way. So if you do this and you make a little green room, a small one like mine for example, you definitely want to have a tray with a ton of sphagnum moss that's alive, and that tray should always have about a centimeter of water at the bottom, so that if they need water, they can just soak it up themselves. And I have a nozzle from my Mist King shooting straight down into this area. So this area is the best place for these kinds of plants. So obviously I'm going to clear some sphagnum moss away and make a home for my new Northiana. And if you're wondering, how do I ensure that there's only about 1 centimeter of water at the bottom of that tray? I put tiny little holes just about 1 centimeter above the bottom. So if it gets above that level, the water can just leak out onto the ground. So that's basically it. Let's find my warden of the green room. His name is Nightcrawler. He's a nosy bay panther, and he loves it in here. He's not fired up as much as he usually is. It's a very cold day and the roof is a little damaged, so the roof is letting out the heat. When he gets warmer, about 90 degrees in here, he is fired up turquoise. Okay, so as you have seen from my previous videos, I've got already I've got 3 large outdoor enclosures. I've got what I call the mini tower, which is 6 feet by 2 by 2, so it's just 2 feet taller than your normal cage you can buy online. Then I've got the Chameleon breeder room, which is like 8 by 6 by 7, very big. I've got the green room you just saw, which is 3 by 6 by 7, but it's got a leaning roof. Anyways, this is going to be the Chameleon Condo, I'll call it. I believe 3 by 3 by 7. 3 by 3 by 7. It's kind of a perfect size for one chameleon to really be able to explore the whole day. If you get closer, you can also see that I always have these things for hanging potted plants from. So these bars are really secure actually, because I glue them in place as well. And you can hang any kind of potted plant from them. It's basically going to be a perfect size. I hope to have this done very soon. And it's also going to be similar to a greenhouse, like the green room because I'm going to have walls and a roof on it and such to hold in some heat so the plants flourish in there. Moving on. So I want to also leave you guys with some serious tips. This one is about the monsoon series. The Great Misters. I use the Mist King outside because I need very fine mist that's natural. Indoors in the house, I actually prefer a smaller cone of water to be shooting from the nozzles of my water dispensers, basically. And so I don't want it spraying everywhere as a fine mist because it gets out of the cage and it kind of gets everything wet. So I don't actually like Mist Kings for indoors personally. I know that almost everyone in the chameleon community seems to swear by them. But I do like the monsoons. The only problem is the monsoon multi is literally, for some stupid reason, an update from the RS 400, the Rain System 400. This is the older model and it has a much better, it actually has a much better pump. It's a very strong version of it and it works very well. I've had this particular exact unit for literally at least 2 years and it has never failed me. Whereas I have just gotten a monsoon not long ago, the multi version, and you can see it says multi right on it, so that's how you tell the difference. It does say it right on it. And if you get the monsoon multi, I do encourage you to return it immediately. Their pump is literally worse. So they made an update, I think, to try to save money and make the price of the unit cheaper for everyone, thinking they'd get more business. But the pump inside, which is the only important part of the entire system, sucks. It literally will not even power up to like 3 nozzles as a good mist at all. Instead, it literally just has barely enough power to squirt water out of the nozzles. So it is basically worthless. I'm returning this one, and I am willing to hunt down a RS 400, the older series, or maybe I'll get another Mist King and just work with it, even though I'll have to basically waterproof all the walls so that the water doesn't get out of these cages, which kind of annoys me because I think the chameleons do like to be able to see outside of their cages somewhat. But anyways, it doesn't have to be completely enclosed. That's tip number 1, guys. I've got some other tips I want to share with you guys before I leave you, so that each video I share has a good bit of information. Right here I have my trusty scale, and I'm showing you this because if you want to keep chameleons, even if you just want to have one chameleon. Now I'm active on chameleonforums.com and Chameleons USA, the Facebook page and such. I'm very active there, and I am just deeply saddened by the gross number of people I see that have failed their chameleons. And I don't blame them, but I do want to say there's simple ways that people could learn to take better care of their chameleons and know what's going on with their health. I see countless pictures of chameleons that look so dehydrated, as if they've been starved of water for not days or weeks, but months. Chronic dehydration always 100% of the time leads to death, every single time. So an easy way to take care of that is monitor your chameleon's weight. So this is my weight sheet, okay, and it's very easy. These are my chameleon's names. You put the date up here and you just track their weight. And so for like females, if they lay eggs, for example, you're gonna notice a sharp drop in weight. For example, right here, you've got Aurelia. She went from 63 grams down to just 48. She laid eggs. Males, however, should never stop growing. Unless they're maybe 4 years old already, they should basically always be going up a tiny bit. Like if they lose a little bit of weight, that's okay, as long as it's not over like 10 grams. But that should be due to things that you should be able to notice yourself, such as you stopped feeding them their favorite food. If they don't like the food you're eating, they're gonna eat less of it. So you can notice that. If you just track their weight, you can notice so many things about each chameleon you have, and you can learn about them based on just their weight. So if you want to take much better care of your chameleon, just monitor its weight and you'll be able to take way better care of it. Okay, everyone, last tip. From the years of experience I have, I've also noticed that not all chameleons do well with supplementation. So, you know, I've got a lot of different dusts that you might dust your crickets or whatever food you're giving, such as, you know, fine calcium or something with D3 or something without D3, like a multivitamin. The only problem is you don't want to mix the two. And so if you're using one thing to do everything you want, like I put my bugs in this bucket right here, And for the longest time I was using the same bucket for everything, and you can tell the bottom is covered in little fine particles of vitamins and such. So eventually I bought a second one. I labeled this one dust because I can't get rid of that. Even if I pour it all out, I don't want to clean it every single day to be able to handle both. So it's worth getting a second one for no dust. This one does not have any dust in it, and you know, just keeping these separate will help you be able to control the environment and control your feeders much better. I'm sorry. So yeah, being able to control your feeders is really important, because if you can't control what vitamins you're putting on your feeders, then chameleons that can't handle as much, such as Quadracornis gracilior, either one of the two, they can't handle a lot of supplementation. So you need to keep that completely out of their diet, except for maybe once like a month or something. They're very touchy on that subject, and since they're more of a rare species at the moment, we're kind of discovering what they like and what they don't like still to this day. So it's kind of exciting, because I do work with Quadracornis graciliors. Other than that, everybody, I think that's basically it. I think I'll just finish the video with showing you some of my chameleons and how much they've grown. Let's go look at my favorite Quadracornis gracilior right now. I named him Typhon. Typhon, he's gotten a lot bigger, if you can see him. He's starting to look really good. His horns look really good. So this is my favorite Quadracornis as of now, because he's finally big enough to show off some characteristics of the Quadracornis gracilior. I named him Typhon, which is like the father of all demons according to Greek mythology. So I'm naming my entire Quadracornis gracilior line Greek names, basically. So if you ever see father and sire with a Greek name, you'll know it came from me. Anyways, he's a lot of fun. He looks like he's on the hunt. He's usually very shy, but he's gotten big enough to stop caring quite so much. He has amazing coloration on his face. It's almost always orange. So for anyone that thinks Quadracornises aren't very colorful, this is a little male. He's only about a year old, but I mean, they have some really beautiful colors every day. Anyways, enough on him. Here's one of his future girlfriends. This is, I believe, Celestia. She doesn't like me, I guess. She's actually very nice and calm. She lets me handle her. Everyone, when I first got into this breed, everyone was all like, you gotta be very careful with Quadracornises. They're known for disking. And to date, none of my Quadracornises have ever disked off my hand. So, yeah. Here's my other Quadracornis I want to show you. This is Eurelia, the queen or mother of all demons. Basically, the mother of Medusa, for example. So someday I'll probably have a chameleon named Medusa. It's a Quadracornis gracilior. I'm going to be letting them out today. They're going to be much happier. She has not laid her eggs yet. She has infertile eggs. I have not mated them with the little Typhon because he's just not quite big enough, and I don't think they'd want to mate with him yet anyways. And I don't want to botch his chances in the future of mating because if they see him as smaller than themselves, there's a good chance that they just might not be interested, and as he grows they might stay uninterested because they recognize him. So I've basically been keeping them separate, hoping that when he's big enough, as in a little bit bigger than them, that they will be attracted to him. Otherwise I could botch his chances of ever mating with them. Okay, enough on Quadracornises. I'm going to show you my Tomatave. He's a feisty one. This is Dr. Azazel Pepper. I think you might have met him before, but he is a lot of green today. When he gets warm, he needs to be warm in the green room. If he's in the green room, he has amazing reds all over him. So if people ever say Tomataves aren't interesting because they have muddy colors, literally, if you want to get the colors you want, make them warm, like not killing them. Like you don't have to go over 100 degrees, but their home habitat is basically like 85 to 100 every day with humidity in the like 80 percentile range. So they're used to the heat. and they like it. He loves it. And so he'll be a bright all red coloration if he's in a hot climate, and he'll have these greens all over him if it's cooler, and more whites, as you can see, because it reflects light and he stays cooler basically. But nonetheless, he is a beautiful colors almost every day. And there's my monsoons turning on. And last of all, this is the little baby Tamate female I have. I had an older one, and I'm very sad to report that she did pass away because she was just not coming into captivity well, as in she was constantly terrified. She was hiding in any foliage she could find all day, every day. She would never move. She wouldn't eat. And she was just too small for me to want to put her outside in my outdoor enclosures. I think I did once, and she freaked me out because she hid really well. And she ended up literally just dying, and I think it's because I couldn't get her to get comfortable enough to eat. Anyways, so this one is a interesting coloration of Tamate. She's got a lot of, her sire that she came from had a lot of whites on her. And so she should be a very interesting coloration. Okay, that's it for today. I hope you liked some of my tips. I hope you liked this video. Please let me know in the comments what you think and what you'd like to learn. I have, at some point, I think I'm sure at this point that I have unconscious tips that I do every day that I think would help the community of chameleon owners and breeders. So please let me know what you'd like to know, because I have been at this a few years and I've done a lot of studying before I even got into it. So I think I had a little bit of an edge before I even got into it. I know a lot of people are still buying chameleons impulsively, which kind of saddens me, because usually those chameleons are test subjects, guinea pigs if you will, and they end up dying in the first 2 or 3 years. Not that you can't do it and do it right, it's just if you're gonna get a chameleon, you've got to do a lot of research to take proper care of them, and they're a whole lot of fun once you know how to take care of them, and you can just kind of play with them, let them crawl on plants. And that's why you'll see lots of plants like this, for example, that are just kind of laying around, because I do like to let my chameleons free range. For example, that's my free range corner up there, and they like to crawl all around up there. Anyway, thank you for visiting me. This is Jungle Dragons, and have a great day.